In the glittering chaos of Hollywood, where legends are born from a single quirky smile or a perfectly timed la-da-da, we've lost one of our most endearing eccentrics. Diane Keaton, the Oscar-winning force who turned awkward charm into an art form. At 79, she slipped away on October 11th, 2025, leaving behind a legacy that's equal parts heartfelt drama and screwball comedy. If you've ever donned a wide-brimmed hat and oversized blazer just because it felt right, or laughed through tears at life's absurdities, then Keaton was your spirit animal. Stick around as we dive into her extraordinary journey from a Los Angeles kid dreaming of the spotlight to a timeless icon whose style and sass redefined what it means to be a leading lady. We'll unpack the details of her passing, celebrate her trailblazing career, peek into her fiercely independent personal life, and share the outpouring of love from her Hollywood peers. And who knows, we might even crack a few jokes along the way, because if there's one thing Keaton taught us, it's that humor is the best way to handle the curveballs life throws. Let's start with the heartbreaking news that rocked Tinseltown this weekend. Diane Keaton passed away peacefully at her Brentwood home in Los Angeles, surrounded by loved ones after what sources describe as a sudden decline in health over recent months. Reports from close friends indicate she'd been keeping a lower profile, skipping events and focusing on quiet time with family and her beloved golden retriever Reggie. Yes, the same pup who starred in her final Instagram post back in April, celebrating National Pet Day with that signature Keaton whimsy. "Proof our pets have great taste too," she captioned, proving even in her social media swan song, she kept things light and lovable. The Los Angeles Fire Department confirmed they responded to a medical call at her address that morning, transporting her to a hospital where she was pronounced dead. No official cause has been released yet, but insiders whisper it was natural, a gentle fade out for someone who lived so vibrantly. It's almost poetic, isn't it? The woman who played resilient survivors in films like the Godfather trilogy bows out on her own terms without the drama of a blockbuster plot twist. But hey, if Hollywood has taught us anything, it's that the best exits leave us wanting an encore. Born Diane Hall on January 5th, 1946, in the sunny sprawl of Los Angeles, Keaton grew up in a household that sparked her performative spark. Her mother, Dorothy Deanne, was a homemaker with a flair for the dramatic. She won local beauty pageants like Mrs. Highland Park and Mrs. Los Angeles, strutting across stages that young Diane watched with wide-eyed wonder. "There she was in the theater, and I saw the curtain open, and there was my mother," Keaton recalled in a 2004 interview. "I thought, I think I'd like that for myself." Her father, Jack Newton Ignatius Hall, was a real estate broker and civil engineer, providing a stable backdrop to what would become a wildly unconventional life. No relation to silent film star Buster Keaton or actor Michael Keaton, she adopted the surname early on to avoid confusion with another Diane Hall in the Union. Talk about a practical pivot that turned into a brand. Growing up the eldest of four siblings, Keaton dabbled in singing and acting at Santa Ana High School, where her quirky personality started to shine. She studied drama at Santa Ana College before dropping out to chase Broadway dreams, a move that screams risk-taker in neon lights.
Her big break came in the late 1960s on The Great White Way, landing a role in the revolutionary musical Hair. Here's where the humor kicks in. Keaton famously refused to strip for the show's nude scene, turning down a $50 bonus that, adjusted for inflation, feels like pocket change now, but was a bold stand back then. "I wasn't comfortable with that," she later quipped, proving she was all about integrity over indecency. That principled stance didn't hinder her, it propelled her into the spotlight. By 1970, she was Woody Allen's muse, starring opposite him in Play It Against Sam on stage before transitioning to film. Their real-life romance fueled a string of collaborations, but it was 1977's Annie Hall that catapulted her to stardom. Playing the titular free-spirited singer, Keaton's ad-libbed la-di-da became a cultural catchphrase, and her menswear-inspired wardrobe, think baggy pants, vests, ties, and those iconic hats, sparked a fashion revolution. She won the Best Actress Oscar for it, beating out heavyweights like Jane Fonda, and in her acceptance speech, she rambled adorably, thanking everyone from her family to all the people who voted for me. Classic Keaton, humble, hilarious, and utterly human. But don't pigeonhole her as just a comedic darling. Keaton's range was as vast as her hat collection. She dove into drama with Francis Ford Coppola as the Godfather in 1972, portraying Kay Adams Corleone, the steadfast wife to Al Pacino's Michael. Returning for the sequels in 1974 and 1990, she brought depth to a role that could have been one note, evolving from naive outsider to heartbroken matriarch. "I was the woman in a world of men," she once said, and boy, did she hold her own. The 1970s were her golden era. Sleeper, 1973, had her thawing out in a futuristic world, while Love and Death, 1975, showcased her as a sharp-witted Russian in Woody Allen's parody of Tolstoy. Then came the edgier stuff, 1977's Lookin' for Mr. Goodbar, where she played a teacher exploring her sexuality in seedy bars, earning rave reviews for her fearless vulnerability. It was a far cry from Andy's whimsy, proving Keaton could swing from laughs to chills without missing a beat. And let's not forget Reds, 1981, Warren Beatty's epic where she embodied journalist Louise Bryant, nabbing another Oscar nod. Beatty, her rumored flame at the time, directed her to perfection, and their on-screen chemistry sizzled like popcorn in a hot pan. The 1980s kept the momentum rolling with Baby Boom, 1987, a comedy where Keaton's high-powered exec inherits a toddler and relocates to Vermont for apple cider dreams. It's peak 1980s feminism with a side of slapstick. Imagine juggling board meetings and baby food, and you've got Keaton nailing the chaos. She directed her first feature, Heaven, 1987, a documentary on afterlife beliefs, showing her curiosity extended beyond acting. By the 1990s, she teamed up with powerhouses Goldie Hawn and Bette Midler and The First Wives Club, 1996, a revenge romp that grossed over $181 million and proved that women over 50 could dominate the box office without capes or explosions. We showed that sisterhood packs a punch, Keaton joked in interviews. Marvin's Room, 1996, brought her a third Oscar nomination, starring opposite Meryl Streep and a young Leonardo DiCaprio in a tearjerker about family reconciliation amid illness. Her Bessie was raw and real, reminding us that Beneath the Quirk was a dramatic powerhouse.
Entering the 2000s, Keaton didn't slow down. She accelerated into rom-com gold with Something's Gotta Give, 2003. Playing a playwright romanced by Jack Nicholson and a swoony Keanu Reeves, she earned her fourth Oscar nod at 57, proving age is just a number in Hollywood's youth-obsessed game. The film's iconic turtleneck scene? Pure Keaton magic, blending vulnerability with verve. The Family Stone, 2005, cast her as a meddlesome mom in a holiday ensemble where her sharp tongue and warm heart stole scenes. More recently, she charmed in Book Club, 2018, and its 2023 sequel, sipping wine and dishing on love with Jane Fonda, Candice Bergen, and Mary Steenburgen. Her directorial efforts continued with Unstrung Heroes, 1995, and Hanging Up, 2000, and she produced gems like Maybe I Do, 2023. Even in her 70s, she tackled Summer Camp 2024 with Kathy Bates and Alfred Woodard and had projects lined up, including one with Blake Lively and Richard Gere. Keaton wasn't just acting, she was living art, authoring books like That Again 2011, a memoir blending her story with her mother's journals, and Brother and Sister 2020, exploring sibling bonds. On the personal front, Keaton was unapologetically herself, a never-married maven who adopted daughter Dexter in 1996 and son Duke in 2001, both in her 50s. I didn't want to give up my independence, she explained in 2021, crediting her mother's sacrifices for shaping her views. With trademark wit, she added, "No one has ever asked me to marry them either, so that might be a good answer." Her romances? Legendary but low-key. Woody Allen in the 70s, Warren Beatty in the 80s, and Al Pacino on and off for years. Al was simply the most entertaining man, she gushed, but marriage? Nah. She cherished simple joys, walking Reggie, exploring California, and marveling at sycamore trees. At 69, she told ARP, "Everything seems much more astonishing now." Her fashion sense remained iconic, those layered looks, gloves, and belts over everything. "I'm a walking contradiction," she laughed, and we loved her for it. The tributes poured in like rain on a rom-com wedding day. Bette Midler called her brilliant, beautiful, and extraordinary, a national treasure whose eccentricity inspired. Steve Martin hailed her as a complete original, while Viola Davis said Keaton defined womanhood with her authenticity. Candice Bergen mourned her as tremendously gifted and uniquely talented, modest yet eccentric. Kate Hudson, Octavia Spencer, and Mandy Moore echoed the sentiment, praising her kindness and charisma. Kimberly Williams Paisley from Father of the Bride remembered her warmth, and Mary Steenburgen lauded his spirit. Even fans on social media chimed in. One ex-user lamented, "Went down a rabbit hole and forgot Diane Keaton died. Glorious 30 minutes," while another listed fave performances from Manhattan to Sleeper. The outpouring underscores her impact. She wasn't just an actress, she was a vibe, encouraging us to embrace our quirks and just keep pushing on. Keaton's legacy? She shattered molds, blending comedy and drama, style and substance, proving women could be funny, flawed, and fabulous at any age. From Annie's optimism to Kay's resilience, she mirrored life's messiness with grace and giggles. In a town of facades, she was refreshingly real, adopting kids solo, directing docs on death, and aging unapologetically. As she once said, "My favorite thing in life is the fact that I can see. It's just so unbelievable. We saw you, Diane, and the world is brighter for it." Though she's gone, her films endure, inviting us to laugh, cry, and layer up in style. For more deep dives into the stars who shape our screens, subscribe to Inside Hollywood, your go-to for the stories behind the glamour. Until next time, Keep chasing those la-doo-da moments.